Module 4, Augmented Profits. Now what I'm going to be doing is walking you through this section by basically answering every single question I've ever got about this, okay? In terms of scaling, in terms of what to do, in terms of what not to do, and so on and so forth. So with that being said, here's all the frequently asked questions when it comes to after you set up your ad, what to do, what not to do, and everything in between. So what do I do after placing the order? Well, you can kick your feet up, you can sit back, relax, and enjoy the amount of time it's going to take in between having your ad go live. And of course, how long does it take? Now, it's going to be completely different for everyone. If you've done ads in the past, you're probably going to realize that they go up much quicker. For example, if I'm already running an ad and I just want to test out a new one to the same landing page, it's literally instant, okay? The longest it's ever taken was probably around 24 hours, maybe less. Maybe it depends on the week, the weekday, how fast people want to look over on Facebook. I don't know what it is. I can't tell you the exact amount, but I would say the more you do, the quicker it is, and probably the longest will be about 24 hours. What if my ad isn't approved? Well, not a big deal. They'll let you know. If you go through this system, there's a very good chance that's not going to happen. As long as you're not breaking the terms of service, make sure you check that out on Facebook. You're going to be good to go. My ad is running. How come I'm not getting clicks? Well, once your ad goes live, it's going to take a little amount of time for them to actually start running through. I'm not sure why. That's just how it is. So if for some reason your ad's been running for 30 minutes or so and there's no clicks coming in yet, no impressions, don't worry about it. That's how it works. Each image is getting a different amount of clicks. Should I keep them all going? Remember, the main importance about putting such a low amount of money spent on the first day is to collect data, okay? If after 5 minutes, one image is getting 2 clicks, one is getting one is getting one's getting 0, right? That's not enough data. You want to run it at least, the full day just to see which one works out best. And so the cool thing is that you can actually have just one of them going, have 2 of them going, because Facebook automatically optimizes which image is doing the best. So that's going to be completely up to you. Obviously, if there's a picture getting 0 clicks and all the others are getting like 5 or 10, you can just turn that one off and have the others go so they'll get more eyeballs to them. How much should I pay per click? This is a very good question. Now remember, we're doing offers that are at least $4 and higher. So what I like to look for is anything 40 to 50 cents. That's like a ballpark for me. Anything less is obviously gravy. It's better. I've actually paid a lot more, but an offer will convert so well that I'll just have it keep going. Or sometimes what I'll do is if I have the great targeting down, I'll tweak things around just to get the ad spend down. But really the only thing that matters is how much money are you spending and how much money are you making. Subtract the difference. If you're in profit, you can keep going as long as you want. Even if the click is $1 per click. Hey, if you're making money, then you're good to go. I'm making the same amount as I'm spending. Should I continue? This is a good question, all right? Let's just say you're sending to a landing page and it redirects them to the offer. If you're making the same amount, right, there's a couple things you can do. Obviously, that's even. You're not really getting anywhere. You're spending money and you're getting the same amount back, okay? Obviously, you're going to want to tweak that up to get either less per click or increase your conversions. Now, if you were sending to a landing page that gathered their email address, I would say never stop, okay? If you're making the same amount, but you're building a list at the same time that's going to make you a ton of money long down the road, you should absolutely continue and never stop, okay? Like I said, the difference between just redirecting from the landing page and gathering an email. It's up to you how you want to play that. I'm making about half back of what I'm spending. Should I continue? When it comes to the whole redirect, I'd probably say no. All right, you might be onto something. Your targeting might be a little off. But I mean, if you're spending, let's say $8 and you make $4, that's really not bad. It's telling you that there's people of interest. Maybe you just need a smaller group. Maybe you just need to lower your click. But however, once again, let's just say that same scenario, you spend $8 and you made $4 back, but you're building a list at the same time. Personally, I would still keep that going, okay? You can always tighten up your targeting. You're building a list, and guess what? You can make that money back in the follow-up, okay? Because that's how someone thinks in the long term, is that I don't mind losing a few dollars on the front end because I know in the back end, when I run through email campaigns, when there's specific offers like they talk about originally, if they make $30 per email submit, right, it's not going to be a big deal if you're losing out on $5 in the front end, right? So that's just kind of my way of thinking. A lot of people who make a lot of money with email marketing, they don't mind losing some money up front. So if you're sending to a squeeze page, it's really not that big of a deal if you're losing half of what you're spending, because you know in the back end you can make it up, all right, as long as you have a nice follow-up for that. I didn't make a conversion. Should I continue? All right, this is a good one. Another good question I get a lot, I hear a lot, so on and so forth. Once again, it's completely up to you. Are you getting really cheap clicks? All right, are you getting a good amount of clicks? Because it really doesn't take a lot of time to figure out if it's going to match up, right? If you're doing a lead generation, they're pretty simple for someone just to enter in the email or zip or whatever it may be. So that's going to be up to you. Like I said, that's why you start off with such a low amount. You're getting data, you're testing. So I can't just say yes or no. If you're getting really cheap clicks, sometimes you want to just keep it going because it's such a low amount of money to test out. So I don't have a black and white answer for you on that one. Just something you got to keep in mind when you're going. I'm ready to scale. How do I continue? I'm glad you asked that because you're in the money. Let's talk about that. So daily scaling strategy. Now this is learned from wasting a lot of money. At first I thought I should just, I have this awesome winning campaign. Let me just dump a ton of money into that. You don't want to do that. I do not recommend doing that. It's a strategy. It might work. You're probably going to be missing out on some money, some data, and so on and so forth. So what I recommend is increase in the morning at least 2 to 2.5 times the amount. So let's say you were starting at $10. Well, you would up that to 20 or 25, okay? It's very important that when you're doing this, you watch your stats, because just because you're spending, let's say, $10 and making 30, or let's just say you're making you're spending $10 and making 20, just because you double that doesn't mean the ROI is going to be the same, all right? Keep that in mind. It's nothing set in stone. When you're sending your ad out to more people, your numbers are going to change a little, okay? They could be a little less income, could be a little more. The clicks could jump up, the clicks could jump down. So it's something you just got to keep in mind. It really doesn't take a long time to look at and say, all right, what are my numbers today? Am I making profit? How much are my clicks? Okay. So here's just a good idea of how quickly you can scale it up. So starting at $10, you can go to 25, 25 to 50, 50 to 100, 1 to 2, 2 to 4. Okay. Now here we are again. So keeping in mind that if you were making double the amount of money back, you can see how it quickly adds up, okay? So if you went from 10 to 25, if you're spending 25 and, turning basically $1 into $2, you'd be making 50. On the second day, it'd be 100, then 200, then 400, and 800. Just keep in mind, you don't have to scale this fast. This was something I chose to do at the time. Except when I was doing it, I skipped out on a lot of the middle steps. I thought I was just going, $25 to $200 a day. And that really messed up my stats. I thought it was just going to transfer me to making a lot more money. I still made good money, but I still missed out on a lot of data. Taking it slow and steady can still make you a good amount of money. So that's just something I want you to keep in mind. You don't have to jump all the way up to those higher numbers, or even higher numbers than what I'm showing you, all right? Keep that in mind. Sometimes really small campaigns have done awesome for me. For example, I had one that was like $7 a day, and it was bringing back a little over $50, maybe $60. I don't remember exactly because I had it written down, but sometimes really mini campaigns like that can do really well. All right, they're very low risk because you're not spending a ton of money. And even if you didn't make any conversions, which wouldn't be a big deal, you're losing out on $7, $10, and so on and so forth. So that's just some insight for you. Don't let the bigger numbers intimidate you. You can basically, if you want to stay in one position, that's completely fine. As long as you're making money, that's the one thing. As long as you're bringing in profit, okay? So no, like I said, you don't have to spend that much. Don't let bigger numbers intimidate you. And also note, you don't always have to scale right away. I wanted to put that in there just in case you really missed out on that, because if you got a nice little campaign going, you know what? Just scale up even smaller. Go from 10 to 20, from 20 to 30. Slowly add on $10, see where your numbers are going, and work from there. Okay? Instead, you might want to. These are some ideas where, hey, maybe you don't want to spend a lot more money. Maybe you want to do something different. Maybe you want to get your cost down. So what you can do is test out a different picture and copy. Now, there's plenty of different pictures if you search for your keyword. When you're searching for pictures to use, remember you can use different colors, different questions, different angles, right? You can tweak your landing page. Maybe you want to put a different picture on there. Maybe you want to ask different questions. a different headline, and so on and so forth. And of course, testing new interests. That's going to be one of the biggest things, okay? There's so many interests out there that people aren't taking advantage of because most of the people are just using these huge, generic, large interests, okay? And when you're using those interests, you can obviously do age groups and gender. And last but not least, doing all of these will allow you to lower your cost per click, all right? Because the lower your click is, all right, the more money you're going to make if you're making conversions. That way you can then scale up from where you are. So how else can I make money with this? As I talked about many times before, when you have that email list, you can just send them any type of related offer. And that's going to be completely in the back end. And that's what makes building an email list so special. Is like I talked about before, you could be completely even, when buying traffic, and you're putting in $5, you get $5 back. You're putting in 20, you get 20 back. But if you're building an email list at the same time, everything else is just going to be purely profits, and there's going to be a lot of it. Because like I talked about, depending upon your niche, a very good chance that subscribers just don't unsubscribe as much. Like I rarely get unsubs compared to a lot of the other niches I've been in, especially when it comes to building lists on Facebook. So that's wrapping everything up for this module, and I look forward to seeing you in the next one.